Check out the description if you want to jump to a certain section of this video. It's all listed down there and easy to use. Now, back to the 500 orders from AliExpress.
Well, actually 510, but who's counting? This is Enthusiast Guy and I am here to talk to you about my experience with this website for over the last 3 years. But what is AliExpress anyway? Well, it's this huge online retailer based in China that facilitates online sales from Chinese small stores, medium or large stores, to regular consumers located in Europe, Russia, well, the Western world, for them, basically anyone. It is owned by the Alibaba Group and it handles everything starting with sports equipment, clothes, electronics, lots of electronics, what else? Toys. They have a lot of stuff. But why buy from AliExpress anyway? Well, there are a lot of products there that you don't usually find next door. It's cheaper because you avoid the middleman, all these importers, traders and all that add their own price to the product and therefore increasing by the time it gets to your doorstep. And you have a lot to choose from, so that would be a good advantage. In order to actually order something from AliExpress, you need to have an account created on the website. This also gives you the possibility to have like 10 wish lists, which you can populate with diverse stuff that you add on certain categories. Also, you have to fill in a delivery address. And optionally, although I use that feature, optionally you can use the Alipay feature, which basically securely holds your credit card information or debit card, whatever you have. And then you can easily pay on next orders without typing all that stuff again. I've been using that for like 3 years. I had no problem with it, so I think I'm pretty safe saying that you can use it without any problems. One other thing that the account provides is the history of all your orders, and you will basically have it forever. AliExpress does not delete it, so even after 3 years I have the first orders I made, I know the prices, I know the details, so that's also useful. To actually make sure you get the best products from AliExpress, you should do a bit of sorting. Obviously you will search for some item, I don't know, a gamepad or something electronic or whatever, and you would get a list of results. You would take a look at the store, how many years that store has been on AliExpress. I tend to qualify the ones that have at least 2 years and at least a star rating of 4 out of 5. And another thing I typically do is actually sort the whole list by the number of orders, So basically on top I will have the searched item that was ordered the most. And next thing you do, you go on that item and then you look at the reviews. It's very important to do that because if you have a product that has no reviews, it's kind of fishy, nobody ordered it, you don't know anything about that stuff. But when you have some reviews, you can take a look and see what happened to others. Also, I hate dry reviews, such as I see 5 stars, I see like 10 or 12 reviews with 5 stars, no text there. That's fishy. I don't get it. I don't get how that happens. So, also, very important, take a look at the pictures that people put in reviews. Those are very important. You can have, especially with clothes. I see that all the time. I didn't buy that much clothes from AliExpress, but other people did, and I've seen differences from how a product is presented and how it effectively looks on people that like put pictures and said, hey, look how this stuff looks on me, and yeah, that's bad. So make sure you choose your product that also has pictures, a good rating, a moderate and decent number of ratings, and go in that direction. Be careful when you're buying more of one product. Let's say you want some clips of some sort or some accessory and you want 10 of them. Use that plus to add items, but also take a look at the delivery cost, because that might increase depending on the size of the product. For the example that I just gave, the clips, it might not be that much. Maybe when you reach 10, it'll be like $2 instead of $1. But basically, if you order 10 mice, for your computer, the cost might increase with each new item you add. So be careful about that. Keep your eye on the delivery price. Also, the delivery price, you can filter for that. You can actually, you have a checkbox that says free delivery, and when you check that, you get all the items that the seller says they don't charge a delivery for sending it to your country. So also do that. Personally, I bought from AliExpress a lot of accessories for my DSLR, general accessories for photography, movie making, lights. What else? Some toys for my kid, adapters, filters, all that stuff, and a lot of electronics such as microcontrollers, wiring, passive components, all that stuff. And what else? Some tools, measurement devices, electronic measurement devices, and well, basically stuff that I've noticed that if I buy it next door, it's like 3 up to 10 times the price that I pay on AliExpress, therefore making it worthy to take a risk. I've even bought some consoles, some of them I've reviewed in my previous video, so you can take a look at those, but I avoid buying let's say sensitive hardware such as, I don't know, hard drives or projectors, or I don't know, let's say a monitor, or stuff that could easily get broken when it's transported. And also about hard drives and SD cards and all that, I've heard a lot of stories of being hacked and they show a different kind of capacity, so I kind of tend to stay away. The price difference isn't that big, so I couldn't buy them locally. So I prefer those things. I prefer to buy and have a paper that says, hey, if you have a problem in the following 10 years with this, hit us with it and we'll just replace it or fix it or whatever. So just buy accessories as much as possible, or I don't know, innovative electronics, interesting gadgets that you may not find locally, and you accept that you may lose the money on. Let's say you buy some interesting gadget and you get it and it doesn't perform exactly like you do, but you can't really apply for a refund because it is what you ordered. So be prepared for that. Also, as I said, read the reviews and make a very reasonable assumption of what you're buying. Quality of the items also depends a bit on the price, because yeah, if you buy the cheapest stuff of an item that you want, you'll probably get bad plastics or weird wiring, or it'll just break after a month or stuff like that. So do expect that when you're buying. Try to balance. If you buy an item, don't buy the cheapest one, don't buy the expensive one. Try to find the sweet spot, the one that looks, and also reading the reviews, you get a good idea that it can hold for a while. You know, I've had a bad experience with namely 2 or 3 products. I think 2 of my mobile chargers broke, but that was after 1 year of usage, so okay, the rest of them worked. Also, I think I had this external battery that also after 6 or 8 months broke again. At least I could take it apart and use the stuff, but you might not be into that, so for you it might be a loss. But also, coming again to the reviews, pay attention to the reviews, because the quality of the product is the quality of a Chinese product. We also get these products wherever we are, but when you buy them from China, having a warranty is more difficult than actually buying it from a local store. However, the majority of the items that I bought were sufficient in quality. They weren't the best, but I could do my job with them. I also bought some tripods. They weren't the best tripods in the world, but they can hold the stuff that I put on them. They still work, and that's fine by me. So do see if you need to make this compromise of lesser quality with the price, because you might need to do that on AliExpress. The payment system. Well, all the items on AliExpress usually have a fixed price. It's not like eBay where you could have like some auctions. You might be able to slightly negotiate with the seller if you contact him and say, hey, I'll need 10 pieces of this. Can you give me a discount or something like that? You won't get a large discount, but you will get something. You can usually pay by card. You can pay by some local service if it's available in your country, and you can also pay by PayPal. But I think they actually AliExpress actually charges a bit more, with about $1 for the use of that service. You don't have to pay immediately. You can order the product, but the seller won't release the product to you until you actually pay and they receive the confirmation of payment. When you decide to pay, the money is taken into an escrow and it stays there until you confirm that the product arrives and you confirm the transaction can be closed. And then, only then, the seller receives the amount you paid. Now about the AliExpress mobile app. If you can, use it, because almost always orders of the exact same product are slightly cheaper when you pay for them on the mobile application. So what I typically do is do all my product searching, and I add things to my cart, and then when I'm all done, I pull up the phone, I switch to the AliExpress application and I pay right there, because it's cheaper always, every time for me. It's cheaper with a few bucks. It's not that much, but it adds up, so I think it's important. Now, the delivery time of the products is usually between 2 and 4 weeks, sometimes more, very less, sometimes less. I had some pleasant surprises, but not when I was in Romania. Mostly when I was in Netherlands, I got my product in like 8 days, and that was a very, very interesting experience. In Romania it didn't happen. It always takes at least, I think the record there was 12 days, which was still good, yeah. However, most of the things that I've ordered were ordered to Romania, and that averaged to 3 or 4 weeks. In several occasions I received them like after 3 months even, you know, but in the meantime I've opened a dispute and I've gotten my money back because it was just too late of a delivery. So that also happens because some of them really come, not all of them come by plane, some of them come by boat, I don't know, rowboat or something, or submarine, I don't know how, but it takes a long time for them to actually reach the target. So it can happen that your product is stuck somewhere, even you'll never see it. It didn't happen to me. I always got, I think I've got all the products except one. I think one product I didn't got, but of course I opened the dispute and I won. But otherwise I think everything I got, even after 3 months, so it's fine. Tracking. Now this is an instrument you have to use. It tells where a specific product that has been sent is currently, and usually every seller that sends you a package gives you also that number. The platform, AliExpress platform, is made to have that number shown in your order, so you should always have it, basically. Now you can use some platforms like the Chinese, I think I'll put the link in the description, the Chinese package tracking system, and also 17track.net, I think. These are very reliable. Don't expect to immediately see the progress of your tracking. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 days it could take before the first data is entered into the system, so don't go rushing the next day and see, oh, where's my package. Also, the tracking will tell you the item has been dispatched, it's waiting somewhere, it's en route to your country, and from the moment it says that, yeah, it's left and it's en route to your country, then the biggest wait, you know, so you can look at this desert for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then at some point you will see that, yeah, item has arrived in the country of destination, but you're still not off the hook, because you will still have to wait for steps like item waiting processing, item has been processed, item waiting for delivery, and these things can also take another week. So yeah, you have to be very patient about that stuff. Look out for situations where your tracking specifically says that something went wrong. I recently had this experience. An item was stuck somewhere, something failed, and I noticed that after a week, I think, because I don't check daily, but I do check the tracking, and I contacted the seller immediately and I told him what happened, and he offered to send it again. So if this happens, you do the same. Contact the store that sent it, tell them about the situation, because that is their problem to solve, and if they don't solve it, then open a dispute, but usually they'll solve it, either by calling to the post office, their local post office, and sorting the matter out, or they'll send the item again. What happens if your item doesn't arrive? Well, that's highly unlikely in my experience. But let's say you will face that question when you wait for a long while. Well, always monitor your buyer protection term. It's a period between like 30 days or 60 or something like that. You will see it in your order. That's the period in which the seller pledges your item will arrive. If the tracking information is not updated and that runs out, the protection time runs out, don't let it run out. Just 10 days before it runs out, contact the seller and tell him, hey, this item still hasn't arrived. Please prolong this this period of protection with, let's say, 2 weeks more, and let's see about that, you know. And if after those 2 weeks the item still doesn't show up, that, well, you can either tell him that he should prolong more, or you can actually open a dispute. That's totally up to you. Usually I'm a patient guy. I allow 2 times, but the 3rd time no. So basically that's what I do. But anyway, do monitor the protection term, because if you exceed that, then you exonerate the seller from any responsibility, and that is a bit difficult. Yeah, you can still, I think you can still open a dispute then, but I think it's a bit harder. So try to be careful and monitor that period of time, also with the tracking as well. Now, if you've told the seller that he should prolong the period and he doesn't do it, then don't allow him more than 5 days, and then open a dispute directly, and that will be just a win out of the box case, because he doesn't respond, that's his fault, and you'll just get your money back. I've had, out of 500 and something orders, I had only 13 disputes. I don't like to dispute, I prefer it to be the last resort. Also, I like to keep a good rating. Not that it would be affected that much, but I feel like, yeah, well, I'm on that website, these guys work hard for their living, and I should be a nice guy. You know, if an item doesn't show up immediately or reasonably immediately, then I'll just cut them some slack, because, yeah, well, it's a nice thing to do. You can operate in the same parameters or not, that's your choice, but I usually tend to give them a more leeway than maybe others would. Regardless of that, make sure that if something goes wrong here and you open a dispute, you also reflect what happened in the review, the rating that you give to the seller regarding that item. That helps others, because thing is that, okay, the seller is the kind of seller that maybe he does things wrong, you know, he doesn't care that much, he sends the things late, doesn't care to track correctly, and so on and so forth. And if nobody complains, or complain lightly, 1 or 2, it doesn't matter for him. But if more complain and the ratings show that, he will be inclined to improve his service in order not to get that same experience again, you know. So do that. Give him the rating. Also mention in the description of your review what happened, you know, for others not to be so keen onto buying from him if they can choose from someone else. Yeah, I've been talking about disputes, but what exactly are the disputes? Well, a dispute is yet another mechanism that AliExpress provides you as a defense for situations where the seller advertises for one thing and sends you another, or just doesn't send you anything, or it sends it with defects and, well, he wouldn't care. And the dispute allows you to fight off that, you know, it allows you to present some information and say, hey, I got this, but it looks like this, or I didn't got this, and so on. So you would basically use that, but only as a last resort. Needless to say, you also have to read the description of the product carefully before actually placing the order, because if the whole thing, I don't know, you order something and you didn't read something carefully, and it said there that, hey, I don't know, batteries not included, and these batteries are very rare and you don't know how to find them, and you get the product, you don't get the batteries, but the seller actually did say that I'm not sending the batteries with this product, then it's not his fault. You shouldn't open a dispute because it's pointless. Also, don't worry, the seller cannot change the description of the product while it's in a dispute. Actually, the moment you've ordered a product, that snapshot of the order is saved on your history, and AliExpress always looks at that when they handle a dispute, so they will see exactly how the product looked, what the price was, what the picture was at the time that you made the order, regardless of what the seller modified subsequently on that item alone. To actually open a dispute, you would simply click the Open Dispute link, which is in the My Orders list, and then when you reach the product's description, you have another button with the same thing, Open Dispute. You click that one, you get a form, you fill out the form, and you're done. It is important to describe the situation carefully in that form. If the product came with defects, you should make sure you take a lot of pictures, including with the package that the product came in. Also, it would be a good idea to actually film, not for everything, because you have maybe some cheap items you don't care that much about, but if it's something electronic expensive, you would film, you would put someone or on a tripod and film how you open the package, how you open everything up, and God forbid you find a defect right then and there and it's on film. You can upload that, and that's concrete evidence that the product came broken. Now, during a dispute, the seller, if he's a sly one, will try to convince you to close the dispute by either promising some stuff. I don't know, he promised you that he'll send you some other thing, or I don't know, or he'll offer you coupons. Don't close the dispute. Just don't do it. It's the only chance you have to be reimbursed. If you do close it, the seller can not hold his promise, no problem for him. Also, a coupon, if he gives it to you, basically that means you get $2 off on the next order you make on the same seller, so you have to buy from him again, you know. So I don't think that's really fair, because I might not want to buy it from the same seller again because he tricked me, yeah. So he says like, no, I'll give you $2 off on your next order. No. So don't close the dispute when the seller asks you kindly, regardless of what he promises. You just stick to your position and get your money back. I've mentioned it before, don't abuse the dispute system. AliExpress really hates that, and for good reason. You have here a link, also it's in the description, and you can check that out. It gives more information about this topic. So basically, if it is your fault and you kind of feel it's your fault, then just don't open a dispute. It's not worth it. Just save that for a situation where it's not your fault. And you know the story of the kid that cried wolf? Well, cry when you have to cry, not before, because you misunderstood something that was in the description or something like that. Be reasonable, and AliExpress also will be reasonable with you. I noticed that, so it works. This does not mean by any chance that you should just not open a dispute if you haven't received a $1 item. If you haven't received it, open the dispute. It's your right. I'm simply referring to situations like when you didn't read carefully the description and you are keen on opening a dispute because you think you were tricked, but when in fact you weren't. So, but if you haven't received an item, even for 50 cents, open a dispute, because maybe that seller is doing a business out of not sending 50-cent items, counting on the fact that you won't open a dispute, and he gets, a dishonest man gets rich, and you say, it's just 50 cents, never mind. So open a dispute even for 50 cents if you want. Coupons. Well, never get too excited about those. I think coupons are one of the omnipresent things on AliExpress, the other one being special offers. I bet you that you can look at any random product on AliExpress and you will see another bigger price cut off and special offer that that lasts for 2 more days, 1 more day, so you'd better hurry and order. No, coupons and special prices are all over the place. So don't go for that, because basically what coupons mean is that okay, the seller will give you a $2 or $1 coupon if you order, let's say, over 10 euros or 15 euros or dollars or whatever. So the thing is that, let's say you went there to buy a $7 item, and then you can get a coupon, a $2 coupon for if you order like $20, you make a $20 order. It's not worth it to spend $13 more to like gain 2, because you're actually losing $11. So try to be careful about that. If you do, however, buy $25 worth of items from a seller and he offers a coupon, of course you should click and get the coupon, because that would be stupid not to do. So yeah, but don't target coupons. Just, you know. Now, items shipped from China to Europe are subject to tax. Tax is a legal thing. Every country has to pay tax for products that go in. So that's a normal thing. Now, the way it is in Romania is like this. And maybe the whole Europe, I'm assuming. If the product is under or exactly 10 euros, usually you just get it in your mailbox, there's no problem. If it's over 10 euros, you're supposed to pick it up from the customs office, postal office, and pay value-added tax. So 10 euros plus, let's say, 2 more euros. You know, so you end up with 12 euros paid. Now, if the product goes over 100 euros, I think, now you also have to pay customs tax besides value-added tax. I don't know how much those are. I've never went to that situation, so I wouldn't know how to tell you there. But I've been informed that you also pay that if the product goes over 100, 110, 120 euros. I'm not exactly sure. So do be prepared for that. The way it works is that you need to bring proof of your order to the customs office so that they can have something on which they can ask you money for. They don't trust, it seems, what the Chinese guy writes on the package, because they claim that the seller can just put a bigger price there in order for when the package maybe get lost. His assurance would cover a bigger sum of money than the actual value of the product. So they say it's your responsibility to bring the proof of the transaction. Now, the proof of the transaction typically is a print after the website with the list of items. That's the proof of the transaction, and you need to bring it. And they will use that to charge you. Now, there might be one other thing happening. You might have 3 or 4 items which are over 10 euros, all of them, and you don't know which one is waiting for you at the customs office, but you have been informed that there's one item there for you. What you should typically do is print all the items that exceed the 10 euro margin and go with all of them and say, hey, these are the I don't know what's in there, because they ask you, at least in Romania they ask, what's in here? And you say like, either of these, I don't know which one, because I don't know which one you've got. So yeah, okay, and then they open it up, because yeah, they open it up. They take a look at it. Oh, it's a big ball of slime. Okay, yeah, this is exactly it, and it's like whatever is here. Yeah, okay, I can charge you based on that. So do bring more documents than actually you think it's needed if you're not sure which product arrives. I don't know what the taxes are in the United States. Maybe you guys know. It would be useful if you'd comment below and tell us, because I have no way of knowing. Maybe they're different, maybe they're the same, but also I would be curious to know. Feedback. Oh, you can add feedback after your order is complete. And also you can add a second feedback, I think 150 days after the first feedback. And that's useful, because you can have stars on both ratings, the early one and the late one, and if the item that you bought broke like 2 months later, you have the opportunity to show that. Otherwise, these are the only opportunities you have to inform AliExpress customers about that specific product. Also, you might have the chance of someone else asking a question about the specific product that you bought, and then you will be notified. The platform will say something like other customers want to know more about this product and ask this question, and you can answer, online, and that's also a very useful tool. You can type in there and see what the question is, and let's say they ask something like I don't know, does it work with, let's say we're talking about a game console, because yeah, I'm buying game consoles all over the place, and it says does it run I don't know, Nintendo 64 or something like that, and it's not clear from the description, and for some reason he doesn't want to ask the seller. He asks publicly, and clients that already bought that item can answer and say, yeah, no, whatever, I never tried, or something like that. Now, sellers always want you to give them 5 stars. Not 4, not 3, God forbid less. But never anything else but 5 stars. They actually make that explicit, saying stuff like, if you don't want to give us 5 stars, just contact us and then we'll find a solution and settle, and maybe we can give you some coupons and that and so on and stuff like that. I don't agree with that. I think they should get the proper rating that you feel it should be given. I don't think you should be unfair to them. I don't think you should give 1 star if, I don't know, if the product came broken and you did get a refund and you still want to get revenge on him. No. Just try to give the proper feedback and rating, you know. But also I don't agree with the fact that, yeah, you just give me 5 stars or just don't put in any rating at all. On AliExpress you also have something called membership level. That is, the more you buy stuff, some points, depending on the sum of money that you spend on that stuff, accumulates, adds up, and like in a RPG game you get level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 4 is maximum, it's the platinum state. Before that was, I think, A0 through A5 or A4, I don't remember exactly. But basically what that gives you is a bunch of perks that, except one, I find completely useless, and that one that I found relatively useful is the one that basically accelerates a dispute time. I mean, shortens the time in which the AliExpress staff will step in to handle your dispute. But I don't think it's that much of an importance, so don't be driven by the membership levels. Don't run along to add points. This is a marketing thing. I don't recommend you to do that because it's pointless. You will get the same benefits regardless of how many points you have, except of course for that thing I mentioned with AliExpress stepping in faster, but that's a few days difference. You get your case solved anyway, so just don't go running after the membership, it's useless. Guys, I'll be giving you some tips and tricks now, an overview of what I've discussed right now for the too long didn't read version. But before that, I will thank you for watching the video as you did. If you find it useful, please share it. Subscribe to my channel because I'm posting often, and let me know in the comments below if you have some questions, or read them anyway because some other people may have asked some questions I replied. And basically just let me know if I should give more information, because making these kind of videos, is no matter how much I try, I can never cover everything, so I'm expecting a lot of questions. So just go ahead. So now on to the tips and tricks. Number 1, filter your search criteria. Search for a product and then look for the store to have, let's say, at least 2 years existence on AliExpress, have at least a 4-star rating. Look for the product's reviews, make sure it has pictures so you can see the product, and also look for meaningful comments from other users. 2, if you need a bunch of accessories, you might not want to buy them all in the same place. Why? Because you will add the value of the package coming to you, and you will start paying taxes after 10 euros, or God forbid, if you exceed even 100 euros, you'll pay value-added tax and customs tax. So try to buy from several sellers so that several packages come along now with smaller values rather than one with a big value, and also that helps not putting your eggs on the same in the same place, right? So AliExpress has a lot of marketing in it. Shopping, therefore, is addictive. Don't buy stuff you don't need. Don't run after the membership level. It doesn't offer you nothing useful. Just buy what you need and ignore coupons, ignore special offers that are all over the place. Add your product to the cart using the desktop or your computer or whatever, but always use your application on the mobile to actually pay for your orders, because that will save you a few bucks. It's cheaper, always it's cheaper if you make the payment with the AliExpress mobile application. Monitor your tracking data. use 17track.net or the Chinese postal website. It's important to be patient. It takes a lot of time for the packages to arrive, so do keep your eye out on the tracking information that the website provides. And also, if your buyer protection term is nearing the end, make sure you contact the seller and tell them to prolong it once or twice, whichever you have patience for. But after that, if you don't get the item, open a dispute. If you find sellers that are uncooperative and they give you fishy responses and excuses, open disputes and don't let them convince you to close the dispute. Once the dispute is closed, it's done. When the product arrives and you have, let's say, several days left in your buyer protection term, don't immediately confirm the product has arrived. Just leave it a few days until you try it out and see if it's working fine, and then confirm and then put your rating in. It just gives you a bit more time to try it out and see that everything is okay. The last tip, comment below if you had experiences, good or bad, with AliExpress that others would like to know about. It's important, it helps, so go ahead and do that. Thank you. Yes, I have... Well, no, don't use coupons. Use them if you want, but I wouldn't recommend them, that's what I'm saying.
Give us the 5 stars!
No.